Hello, everyone. How are we? Check in with me. Tell me where you're signing in from and how things are going for you. I'd love to hear. Hi, everyone. Hello. Welcome to my Viral Wisdom Daily course. I don't even know what day it is, but whatever day it is, I'm happy to be here with you and share this moment with you. So, as you sign in, tell me where in the world you're signing in from and how you're feeling, what's coming up for you, what's something that you're experiencing that maybe you're having a hard time with. And as people are joining in, I just want to let you know that I have 4 or 5 more days left. If you want to get my courses for 50% off, I have courses for teenagers, for kids under 6. Um, Courses for if you want to awaken your heart and become more enlightened, courses for manifestation if you want to learn how to manifest. That's a fabulous course, 52 hours. I have meditations. I have courses on the awakened family. I have a course for fathers, a 2-day quick course. So I have lots of courses online. I have my Luminous Sisterhood that's open again for another 5 days. So if you want to take advantage of my 50% off, the coupon code is half off, and the website is drshefali.com. So a lot of you are asking, how do you know which course is the best one? Oh, I have a course on relationships called Free to Be. So my signature courses that I like to put people on if they are looking to liberate themselves, the Awakened Heart, the Year of Manifestation, and Free to Be. These are the courses, these are the titles: Awakened Heart, Year of Manifestation, Free to Be. If you're looking for parenting help, then you take a specific parenting course depending on how old your kid is. If you have a teenager, if you have a kid under the age of 6, I have different courses that can. I have an anger transform course for if you're having anger issues at home and you want help with that, then you can take the anger transform course. So there are lots of courses, lots of help. 50% off with the coupon code half off. So take advantage. It won't last after June 1st. I'm ending the coupon code, and of course, I'll open it up again in December. But these are lifetime courses. So once you apply, they're yours. Once you have them with you, once you pay, they're yours for a lifetime. I don't ask for them back. There's no expiration date. They are yours to keep. So, hi everyone. I see you signing in. I'm so excited that you're with me. So, yesterday we talked about how life is suffering if we don't understand the nature of life. So, one of the topics I want to focus on now is how culture has idealistically set us off on this delusion of idealism. And what is idealism, right? It's made us feel that there's an ideal way to live. And an ideal is something we think is wonderful to have. But when you put the words, the letters ism behind anything, it kind of messes things up. Like in religion, when you put the ism there, now it's not anymore a wonderful teaching, now it's an institution. So, same with an ideal. It's great to have ideals, but when you put ism behind it and make it an ism, you screwed it up. So, culture has taught us to have idealism, that there is an ideal life and you can be idealistic about it. This is a delusion, right? This goes against the flow of nature, the flow of life, and the quality of life itself, because the quality of life is to be diverse. The quality of life is to be constantly transforming. So idealism goes against the nature of life, yet all of us have idealism in our life. And the reason we suffer is because we are attached to those ideals. And what are the fundamental ideals of life? Happiness and success. Those are the two fundamental ideals of life around which we are idealistic. And this is where we become delusional because we believe that happiness and success are signposts of a good life. And in both these is great delusion, because what is happiness? We have now seen we really don't know what it is, because happiness is transient. Happiness is something we are looking for. And the minute you look for something on the outside, you're going to be craving. And the minute you're craving, you're not in the present. You're not in the here and now. And the minute you're not in the here and now, you're essentially screwed. So, happiness is something that has been utopically created by mankind as a goal, right? It's in the Declaration of Independence for the pursuit of happiness, right? And it's a fundamental illusion because no one really knows what that looks like. No one really knows what that feels like. But yet we go toward it with this idealism that it will create the ideal state that we want as a human, the state of happiness. And then success, right? And what is success? Really, actually, only one thing: money. Money, 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 money. But when we say money, nobody likes it because no one wants to be crass and materialistic. But come on, what is success if not fame and money, right? And fame usually occupies itself with money, and they both indicate power. Again, these are touted as idealistic goals, right? And it's because of the quest for happiness and success that we suffer. Without these two, I promise you, we will not suffer. And that's why non human animals, the chimpanzees, the giraffes, the gazelles, they don't suffer as much as we do. We suffer because we have been set up with this idealism toward happiness and success. The two curses are happiness and success. That's it. Because when life occurs, and when life occurs in its natural form, it just is. And it demands you to go from idealism to realism, right? Now, realism also has ism in it, right? But it's better than any other ism because it's a realism, right? So often when I teach, my relatives will often make fun of me and go, "Oh, Shefali, you are as fundamentalist as the next fundamentalist because you insist on the principles of joy and impermanence and transience." And they tease me, but I laugh because, yeah, I am fundamentalist about what's real because it's real and it's nature. So if you want to call me a naturalism freak, sure. So if you want to call me a realistic freak, sure. But when you're real about reality, that's kind of okay. But when you're real about delusion, that's kind of not okay. And idealism is a delusion. Realism speaks to the reality. But again, it needs to be understood at a deeper level. So, how do we move from idealism to something that is about reality, really, is what I'm talking about. And reality has nothing to do with happiness and success. Reality has to do with the experience of the present moment as it appears. So, when people ask me, well, if you don't want happiness, what do you want, Dr. Shafali? What do you aspire to? And I say, I aspire to be present. I don't aspire for that presence to look a particular way. Now, of course, I do want it to be happy too, because I'm a woman with an ego. But my wise self knows that that is a delusion. What I really want, my wise self wants, is to be present. What does that mean? To allow for whatever is showing up to be experienced with an awakened awareness. That is my goal in life if I am to have one. My goal is to be present, right? So it's counterintuitive because a goal typically implies something in the future. But in spirituality, in wisdom, it implies to be in the present. And when you're in the present, you realize you can have no goal. You see, it's all counterintuitive and paradoxical. It's all a mind twisting, bending, crazy twist on words, play on words, because words are limited to express this. So instead of seeking happiness, we desire to be present, and we replace the quest for happiness to the quest for presence. And when we are in presence, we are as close to nature as possible. We are as close to the raw reality as possible, because we don't seek it to be different than what it is. We accept that it is what it is. And in that acceptance, there is no apathy, there is no dejection, there is no victimization. There is a bold and brutal awakened awareness that what is happening is as it should. It shouldn't be other than what it is, because it is happening. Once we accept that, then if we seek to change it, we do so from a place of alignment, not out of a place of resistance. So, for example, in America right now, you will see many instances of the delusion of white supremacy, for example, against people of color, right? It is only when we accept the illusion and delusion of white supremacy that it exists, now we can make change. As opposed to, say, a Trump who says it doesn't exist. He doesn't even believe it exists. So if you don't believe it exists, you're not in acceptance of its brutal reality. And when you're not in acceptance of its brutal reality, you're in denial. When you're in denial, you cannot really create change. So change occurs when you stop asking it to be other than what it is before you fully accept what it is. It. Once you accept that it is with all its raw reality, now you can create change. But simply saying it shouldn't be, people shouldn't be racist, is stupid, because people are racist. You understand what I'm saying? It is. Now, once you understand it is, now you begin to study it and you begin to understand it at its core. You don't say it shouldn't exist, because then you won't study it. When you say it does exist, then you will study it, you will get to know it. Now you will attack the enemy as the enemy needs to be attacked. Did you understand? For example, at a very brutal level, you say you are an alcoholic, right? Alcoholics know this very well. The core principle of the AA treatment to addiction is to first accept that you're an addict. Hello, I'm Shefali and I'm an addict. Why do they do that? It's brilliant. It is so amazingly powerful in simplicity, right? It first accepts what it is. I am an addict. It's no shame, no judgment. I am. Now I seek to understand myself, and now I have 12 steps to change it. Do you understand? With your child, right? Your child is exhibiting X behavior, whatever it is. Instead of being in denial of it, we accept it. Now we study it. Now we can change. Similarly with ourselves, right? If you have an eating problem, or you have a procrastination problem, or if you have a depression issue, the first thing is accept. I'm anxious. You know what? I'm really anxious. Instead, I'll show you how it can disguise itself, right? This happens with parents a lot. The parent will blame the child. The child is not studying for the exams. The child is not waking up on time. The child is not doing well in their school. And then I'll tell the parent, it sounds like you're really anxious. And the parent will go, I'm not anxious. I'm just talking about this because the child doesn't do X, Y, and Z. And then I'll say again, it sounds like you're really anxious. I'm not anxious. Now, what to do with that kind of parent, right? So I have to deconstruct them and show them it doesn't matter what the child does. You are anxious. Can you own it? And they're like, I'm not anxious. I'm only anxious because. And the minute they say because, we start again. Okay, it sounds like you're really anxious, right? So my point is, we don't own what we are, who we are. We don't own what the reality is. It's too blaringly difficult to own. It's really hard to accept that America is still in the grips and vice of racism. Same grips and vice that it was 50 years ago. It just looks different. Hard to accept. Hard to accept. I get it. Hard to accept. It is. So realism, or accepting reality, is brutal. It's difficult, it's raw, it's naked. It asks you to, in an unashamed fashion, look at it in the eye, accept. But it's only when we see reality for what it is, only then we can enter a great surge of activity to change it. Resistance blocks change, acceptance flows change. So, in your own life, right, this pandemic is an invitation to own up to your fears, to own up to your racism, to own up to your denial, to own up to your addictions, to own up to your anxieties. Where are you getting stuck? It's when you own up to it, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, I see my addictions. I see my ego. I see. I'm not scared anymore. I'm willing to see. Because when I see my own ego, then I can see how I co create my reality, how I co participate in my suffering, how I am an agent of my own suffering. And when I can see, now I can break those down. I can create change where I need. And now I can enter joy. As much as I said yesterday that life is suffering, it's only suffering because we stand in the way of our joy. How do we stand in the way of our joy? By attaching to idealism of happiness and success. You mow that down, you have joy. When you let go of wanting to be happy and you enter the presence of whatever it is, guess what? Guess what you have? Joy. When you let go of your desire to be perfect, to be achieving, to be validated, to belong, and you let it all go, what do you have left in the sieve? Joy. There is joy everywhere. There is joy everywhere in your life. What's blocking it is your resistance to accepting reality as it is. The child that you got is the child that you got. There's plenty of joy in the child that you got, but you don't want to see it because it may not match the idealism of happiness and success. The body that you got, the face that you got, the eyes, the hair, the nose, the teeth, the mouth that you got is absolutely joy giving. Why don't you look at it as joy giving? Because it doesn't fit the idealism of an ideal of perfection that culture has put down on you. Yesterday, I was talking to a beautiful, in my opinion, woman who was plagued with her wrinkles and plagued with her aging, which none of which I could see. But she was plagued, like all of us women. Why? Because we have been conditioned to be plagued by the idealism of perfection, right? To us, that is success, to be a wrinkle free, butt in the air and boobs in the clouds kind of woman. We are conditioned that that is beauty. And so on and so forth. And motherhood is its own curse of perfection, right? And men have their own curse of perfection, identified by their bank balance, identified by their status, by their power. So, as long as we are burdened by these false ideals of idealism, we will never enter truth, right? The truth is that we will age. The truth is that life will change. The truth is that there will be loss. The truth is that our children will be less than perfect. The truth is that we will fail and falter and fumble and stumble. These are the truths, but they are not idealism. You see, idealism screws us. Idealism says it should not be the way it is. Realism says reality is exactly as it should be because it's happening. The fact that it's happening, it took a bazillion causes and effects to create it. And because it was so intricately interwoven and created out of such deep cause and effect over prolonged periods of time, it should be exactly the way it is. How can I say it shouldn't be? Look at the process of birth. Look at those 9 months that most of us have in a typical trajectory. Most of us have the same precise scientific clockwork, biological precision, right? Then do we say it shouldn't be the way it is? How come when we have a healthy birth, we're like, oh, It shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't be like everyone else. How come I'm exactly like everyone else? No. First, we think we've created this child, which is some insane delusion. But when the baby is inside, just for a brief moment, we all are humble. Like, how is this happening? How is it so precise? You know how it's so precise? Because evolution is so precise. This is the process of evolution. This is not creation by some mystical creature. This is freaking evolution at its finest. Month one, month two, month 2.5, month 2.7. This comes, that comes, this gets turned on, that gets turned on. And before you know it, the symphony of a human birth is in the making. And guess what? You had nothing to do with it. You didn't do diddly squat. Nothing. And for a moment, if you're humble, you will bow down in reverence to the power of biology, to the power of cause and effect, to the power of evolution. And if you are really wise, you'll take those lessons when your child is born and understand you have nothing to do with this. Nothing, but you have all to do with screwing it up, all to do with screwing it up, but nothing to do with how precisely, beautifully orchestrated this biological evolution is. We are biological beings, we are evolved beings. Things happen through cause and effect, and we have to bow down to this. But the way we bow down to the birth, we have to bow down to the death. Death doesn't just happen. It happens after intricate cause and effect and cause and effect and cause and effect. That's why you see in the COVID affects one person one way, another person another way. Why? Because it's cause and effect. It's cause and effect. We don't know how it's going to affect you or me, but this is life. This is the nature of life. It's cause and effect and cause and effect. So the idea that it shouldn't be the way it is insanity. But culture tells us it should only look a certain way. All women need to be a size zero. All of us need to be blue eyed and blonde haired. All of us need to be skinny and this. And all of us need to be this. And all men need to be this way. And all children need to be this way. So the projection of this idea of idealism turns into on steroids when it comes to our children. On steroids, we project our unworthiness and our desire for perfection onto our children and then onto their children. And this is how the insanity of idealism continues. And trapped in this idealism is suffering, right? But when you let it go and you begin to say, I accept because I want to be joyful. I accept because I want to be humble. I accept because I want to be grateful, right? When you say, F this wanting, desiring, because that just makes me an entitled, unhappy person. I'm always unhappy. You know, you're always unhappy, a little bit of you. But how to get rid of it? Only when you see through culture's imposition of idealism. Culture has created idealism so it can sell you things. So it creates continuous discontent. You're never happy. It's never good enough. It's never enough. So this way you buy medicines, you buy happiness, you buy an altered state of mood because you've been told you can never be happy. So you're never in a freaking good mood. Now you go buy the good mood from the pills. You go buy the good moods from the shoes. And culture has told you not the Payless shoes. You know, I buy Payless shoes. I'm very upset it's closed down. People laugh at me why I buy Payless shoes. And I laugh at them why they don't buy Payless shoes. I go, why would you pay more? You're so stupid, right? The shoe is the shoe is the shoe. But no, we've been told that Payless shoes are bad. Let me tell you, my Payless shoes are amazing. You guys ask me, where did I buy my shoes? And when I say pay less, you don't believe me. I go, okay, because you are deluded by idealism. You think pay less means it's less. It's not. It's the most amazing, durable, better than your shoes, Michael Kors and Prada and whatever, Gucci and Fucci and Fendi, because you bought into this. You want to pay more. Okay. You think paying more makes you more. It doesn't. You know, it totally doesn't. But this is where capitalism has got you by the jugular because it sold you on idealism. So until you realize, especially we women, that we've been sold this prescription bottle of perfectionism, and until we shatter it, we will be miserable because they count on us to be miserable. Because who buys? Women. Women buy. If you get the heart of the woman and the purse of the woman, that's it. Everyone sells to the woman. Men buy few things, you know what they are. But only few things, very expensive, but few things. And they when they get caught, they're in trouble. But women, we're buying the day to day, the mascara, the lipstick, the rouge, non-stop, right? We have a bazillion things, all with a very quick expiration date, so we can go buy again. And this is how we co-participate, co-produce, co-create a consumeristic, materialistic, unhappy, discontented, anxious generation and culture. So women are the harbingers, women are the linchpin. When we stop, everything stops. We have to take power back in our hands. The woman, the mother. Sorry, men, but we hold the purse strings. They may fulfill the purse, the few men who make money, but we hold the strings. We have the buying power. And until we get off the bandwagon of idealism, of looking for happiness, belonging, and worth, and achievement and success, until we pull the plug, culture is not going to change. The change agent is the woman. Sorry, we are it. As much as we are in the patriarchy, we support the patriarchy. So if we want things to change, we have to topple the patriarchy. But it's not by toppling the men, it's nothing to do with the men. The women make the patriarchy. We have to shift it and own our matriarchal power back. How? By moving away from idealism. Idealism has us by its grips. So in your own life, the thing that's robbing you of joy, guaranteed, is some sort of should. I should, it should, he should, they should, my house should, my car should. When you annihilate the shoulds in your life and you go, what is it? What is the is that I'm saying should not be is? And piece by piece of your life, face by face, wrinkle by wrinkle, crevice by crevice, you begin to accept every flaw, every imperfection of your life. You will now emancipate not only yourself, but your sons and your daughters and their sons and daughters. So emancipation begins from the surrender of idealism. This is emancipation because you are enslaved by a delusion of perfection, of idealism. So crap on idealism, dump it. If you have any smell of idealism in your life, he should, they should, judgment and superiority, you have to learn to burn it, right? It has to be the destruction of all false ideals, beginning with idealism. Idealism is the abductor of joy. What is idealism? That it should be something other than it is. And it will rob your joy every time. Life is filled with joy, but it can only be filled with joy when it is filled with acceptance and surrender. I get it. I see it. I allow. When you let go of what it should be and enter how it is, now you are in joy. It's not ideal, but there's plenty to be joyful for. Your child is not perfect, not Michael Phelps yet, not Mozart yet. Oh, what a tragedy. But on their way, or which hopefully for you it will never be, so that you can truly learn to let go, you can find joy. So look around you today. Look at your imperfect, messy house, chaotic house, not enough money, not enough this needs to be fixed, that needs to be fixed, and realize this is the nature of life. Life is always in flux. There's a shit show around every corner. You just thought, oh my God, my life is so good. Oh, shit show. It's around every corner. If you escaped a few years and had a few good years, don't get trapped into complacency. The shit show is coming. And when you accept that life is flawed, life is imperfect, with every spring blossom will come fall and winter, the bitterness and desolation of winter. And if you can see your life like that, like seasonal or diurnal, if you're lucky, it's seasonal, or it's every other day if you have kids under 7, you will begin to let go of your control, your idealism that it should be different, your perfectionism, your desire to have it all packaged. And you just tear off the wrapping paper and say, I don't want wrapping paper around my life anymore. I don't need bows and frills, and I just need an ordinary life. I'm happy right here, right now. It's okay. It's a mess. It's never good enough. My husband is never tidy enough. My children are never polite enough. My body is never skinny enough. But you know what? I'm getting out of the competition. I'm leaving the matrix, because this matrix is just, it's just designing me to be mad. So I'm challenging you. The desire and the permission to leave the matrix has to come from you. You have to leave the competition. You have to leave the arena and see its madness in the arena. You have to say no more. You have to release yourself from the shackles of perfectionism. So go eat a chocolate cake. Go love your children as they are, messy, snotty, dirty, or sleeping like my teenager is. And just see the wonder of their ordinariness. see the wonder of their lack of perfection. How about look at the lack of perfection and go, wow, if there's one thing my life has a lot of, it is a lot of imperfection. At least you are blessed and graced with imperfection. See it as credit, lots of credit in the bank in imperfection. And just go, wow, I've been missing all this imperfection. I've been looking for perfection and seeing, oh, there's no perfection, and I've been missing it. But what I have in bounty is imperfection. How have I missed all this? And if you can just see the rose for the thorns and the thorns for the rose and shift your perception, now you're suddenly very rich, rich in imperfection. And that's something to be grateful for, because you are alive and you are here and you have. And the fact that you have, whether it's imperfection or perfection, the fact that you have, you're bountiful, right? So find the joy. Joy is not something given by culture, because culture robs us of joy. But you can find joy if you know where to look. You're looking in the wrong place. You're looking in the place that can never exist, in perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. You're looking in the wrong place. Change the lens, put the right glasses on, and suddenly you will have joy. Thank you all for joining me, guys. I'm going to go teach meditation now, right now, on another Facebook page. So come join me there. It's facebook.com/groups/get superpowered. I'm literally going to click onto that Facebook page and go teach meditation. So join me there. Facebook.com/groups/get superpowered.